Lenses. I try as much as possible to pick topics that are beneficial, and I try not to go into too much depth where it becomes too technical. I try to just keep it in the range of it being impressions, ideas, points of view. And when we talk about lenses, let me just put it out there, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me, but lenses are not cared for or thought after as much as they should be. I think in our space, people care more about sensors, they care about the size of the sensor, they care about the megapixels, the sharpness, and even the color science, and they tend to forget the lenses. Yes, some people realize that lenses have more value when lenses outlive the camera bodies, which is very true. And this is actually what I'm trying to say. I'm here to encourage everyone to invest in lenses, try lenses, test lenses, figure out what different lenses do, because in the photography video space, lenses are a lot more important than the camera bodies. The technology of camera bodies has moved and shifted way too much to where it's very comparable. The differences are very negligible, but the lenses, they're very different. And I don't mean in terms of like autofocus and speed. Of course they're different. And I don't just mean in terms of like fast lenses and small and slow lenses. They're slower lenses. Yes, they're like f4 lenses, f5.6 lenses, and they're the 1.8s and the 1.4s and the 1.2s. But lenses have character. And between the different manufacturers, lenses differ a lot. And you don't realize this unless you use different lenses and you compare different lenses and you see how much they differ. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of reviewers, they put lenses side by side. They tell you, okay, this is more warm, this is less warm, this has more contrast. And it's very true. It's easier now to decide which lens you would go for because there are a lot of tests done for the photography lenses, for the cinema lenses. A lot of tests have been conducted, and people still seem to be doing more and more tests just to figure out what fits where, what's better, what's sharper. And it's not just the sharpness. It's not just how much this lens vignettes or how much chromatic aberration a lens has, but its character. And in the photography space, I am personally a very big fan of Sigma lenses. I have found Sigma lenses to be very, very consistent in terms of color rendition, in terms of contrast, in terms of the qualities that they provide. And throughout their ranges, they're very close. They have their own style, their own character, but it's very consistent and it's very close. Same applies for Sony lenses. Same applies for Nikon lenses. Same applies for Fujifilm lenses. There will always be variations, but glass will always be glass. Whatever money you pay in glass, you keep. It is a long-term investment. And long as you know how to take care of your glass, as long as you know how to treat it right, as long as you don't scratch it, you don't bump it, you don't abuse your lenses, they will last you a lifetime. People are using what they call vintage lenses or legacy lenses from the 50s and 60s, and they still work. They're still beautiful. Yes, they're different. Their characters are different. They weren't manufactured or designed for today's sensors, so they don't push that much megapixels. They're not that clear, but they have a lot of character to them. And we often forget how important it is, how important lenses are, and we just run around after the next best sensor. And a while back, I had this project, and I was the DP for it. And unfortunately, we had a beautiful camera. We had a very, very, very good camera. But we had crappy lenses. Not crappy per se, they were like G Master lenses. So we were operating in FX6, but with G Master glass. And as nice as the FX6 is, and the sensor is pretty good, the quality it produces, it's very decent. The way the G Master lenses reacted to the light, the way they rendered the light, wasn't as flattering as maybe a set of cine lenses, like the Viltrox lenses, the IRIX lenses, the DZO film lenses. These manufacturers are all pretty new to the scene, but they create glass that has character. It has a look. It has a style, and it complements the style and the character of the sensors. I realize that the colors of Sony are different from Blackmagic, different from Nikon, and that's fair. That's how the game is. But lenses add a lot, and they change the look of things. They make things seem tasty. They make things seem interesting. And I keep on telling this to people. It's like, choose your lenses. It's not just a 24-70. It's not, there are a few 24-70s that you can get. Different brands. Like Samyang is like, just for the E-mount. Samyang has one, Tamron has one, Sigma has a couple now. There's the 28-70 variant. Sony has a couple, the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. So we're talking like 8 different lenses just for one focal length, one field of view. And they're different. People go comparing them, yeah, this is faster, this is slower. It's not just that. It's not just the focusing speed. Most of them are pretty fast now. But you should look at what the lenses create. Not the charts, not the MTF charts, not that stuff. It's too technical, and most of it don't really understand it. I look at it, I don't really. It takes me time just to figure out what they mean with the chart. But when I see same camera, same image, 3 different lenses, that I can understand. I can see which one renders better skin tones, which one's warmer or cooler. And the moment you realize that this is what you want, the moment you actually invest and pay money in a lens, it's the moment you have invested money. The moment you buy a camera body and then upgrade the camera body, this is the moment where you actually lost money, because no camera body upgrade is that much of an upgrade to equalize whatever you've lost initially if you've just bought that camera body. And it's different when it comes to lenses. Lenses retain their value. Lenses last a lifetime. Lenses are what I would always push people to buy better. Like if someone is asking me, this is a very famous question, should I get a medium body but a high-end lens, or a high-end body with a medium lens? I would say get the medium body, get the high-end lens, you keep the lens, you change the body, but at least you have the glass. Invest in glass. It's not going anywhere. And me personally, I have a lot of lenses. I love lenses, and with time I have developed this understanding of what does what, not just in terms of focal length, not just in terms of like field of view or field of vision. It is what the lens can do. And just simply, you can get a 50 as a prime, you get a 50 within a 24-70, and you can get a 50 within like a 28-45 that Sigma makes. You can get a lot of 50s. You can get the 50 that's a 1.8, you can get a 50 that's a 1.4, and you get a 50 that's 1.2, even from the same manufacturer. But they're not the same lens. They give you the same field of view, but they don't see similarly. They don't render similarly. They don't create the same image. And it's our role as photographers, as videographers, as DPs to recognize the different characteristics of lenses, just the same that we're so eager to when it comes to camera bodies, and use them to our advantage. And again, once you realize this, once you've done your due diligence, once you've done your homework and you know what you like, you start owning them. You invest in them and you keep them. And the nice thing about what's happening today is that mounts are becoming very similar or close, and a lot of things are interchangeable, a lot of things are adaptable, so you don't lose. Like people who have EF glass, they still use it. They still use it on the red cameras. It's still used on the RF cameras. It's still used on the Blackmagic cameras. And they're like 80s lenses and 90s lenses. They're still good. They still work. So that's what I really want to talk about. The importance of lenses and how you can never go wrong with buying a good lens, saving up money for it, taking care of it, and just ignore the cameras for now, just a little bit. Cameras, they'll always keep on developing them. A lens, once they come up with a lens, that's it. It's a lens. It stays there. It's a statement. It's there. Unless, of course, Sony decides they want to create a Mark II because their Mark I wasn't that good to start with. But that's a different topic for a different day. So guys, keep on shooting and see you soon. Stay safe.